Robert McCune with Hotel News Now here at the Hunter Hotel Investment Conference in Atlanta with Hyatt's SVP of Development, Julienne Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the things we've heard at the conference, and we're going to talk a little bit about the state of the industry and what that means for your company and development this year.
Great.
So the mood of the conference really seems to be that this is a good year for deals. And whether that's buying, selling, refinancing a hotel. Can you talk about what you're seeing and whether that rings true for Hyatt, for your company?
I think earlier this year we heard the phrase cautiously optimistic, which is one I've been using. So we're anticipating that the lending environment is going to slow. We've seen a couple of major banks blanketly say we're pulling out of new construction until some of the hotels they have on their balance sheet actually open and they can cycle out of those loans. So we're anticipating that's going to be a little bit more difficult. We're already seeing a slow in contract signings. We haven't seen any fall off, just take a little bit longer. So we did have a record year last year in terms of room signings in North America, as well as hotel openings globally. We anticipate we'll do more of the same this year, but it really is predicated on what the lenders are going to do.
One of the things we've heard is that it really sort of swings wildly depending on the market.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about some of the markets that you think or that you foresee as being good markets for Hyatt to develop in?
Sure. So we have a unique challenge, which is a good one here, particularly in the States and also in our global markets, in that we have open road in a lot of markets. So we started Select Service, which is Hyatt Place and Hyatt House for Hyatt, 12 years ago. Before that, we were luxury and full service only, which really limited our ability to grow in viable markets where our World of Hyatt guests were going. So we got into Select Service to kind of solve that distribution issue where a guest might be going to Richmond, Virginia, or some of the other markets where we wouldn't have necessarily a full service hotel. So we were able to kind of gain critical mass out of that entry into the marketplace, which means we have a lot of catching up to do. We now have around 350 Select Service hotels worldwide, but mostly in the US. So that leaves a lot of markets open and available for development. So rather than trying to put our 12th or 13th hotel brand in a marketplace, we might be putting in our first, which is, from a lot of standpoints, a really good investment thesis, right? Because we've got the World of Hyatt guests going to that market with no place to stay, so you kind of capture all of that business. So from a pipeline standpoint, we see that continuing to grow because of how small we are.
So one of the things that we've seen and heard from Hyatt recently is sort of this trend toward developing businesses around hotels, but not necessarily hotels. For example, the Miraval purchase, where you're sort of like expanding Hyatt into the world of spa, wellness, the wellness sector. I think there's been some talk from Hyatt about doing a little more of that.
Yeah.
Can you talk specifically about any plans in that direction?
So adjacent spaces, that's what we're calling it, although I don't think we coined that term. But rather than trying to grow the company specifically with just bricks and mortar, which is something we're doing, we had a record number of hotels open last year with 59 globally. We're looking at other ways to grow our relevance with our loyalty customers, which is World of Hyatt members. We view that as an untapped marketplace. So we started by buying into all-inclusive. So we partnered with Playa a couple years ago and developed all-inclusive hotels. So that still is hospitality. We looked at One Fine Stay, which is like a VRBO if you're familiar, or Airbnb, but targeted to the ultra high-end consumer, just to gain some visibility on that business. We decided not to pursue that any further, but that gave us some great insight into what our guests are doing and what they're wanting outside of the hotel space. There's a lot of interaction that can be done with a hotel guest outside of an actual hotel. So the purchase of Miraval is a step towards that direction. Wellness is a hot topic. You see, wellness signs and advertisement at the grocery store, right? So that is a piece of the business that's only going to grow from our viewpoint, and how can we tap into that and grow that beyond inside the hotel. So we're focused on that as well. So I think you'll see more of that to come versus the typical buying brands, developing new brands. We're hyper focused on that high-end traveler, and the high-end traveler is very interested in wellness.
Great. Well, Julienne, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.